All right.
Hey, hi everybody. Welcome to Jimmy and Howie today. Everybody else with families is they're taking breaks, and we figured we'd give John a break, but I had to call John twice tonight, so sorry, John. Uh,
It's almost like it's a holiday or
yeah,
something.
right.
What's going on?
So you're stuck with us tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about last minute changes and the last minute obstacles and things that trip us up at our events. It doesn't matter whether it's a wedding, it doesn't matter, whether what it is. It's just people have a habit of, oh, we're going to switch this and then not notifying you. So we're going to discuss that. And we're going to give some ideas to fix that and overcome it. And then we're going to open the chat up and invite everybody in, and they can share their ideas.
Sounds good.
All right.
What do you have up first, Jim?
All right. Let's see. First thing we're going to talk about is work area. All right. I recently the gig you and I did, I requested 8 feet of distance from our area, front to back,
Mm-hmm.
and 12 wide.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody agreed on it. And we got there, and it was 6 feet and whatever width we wanted, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, within reason. So, you want to explain to them how we dealt with that?
Well, surprise. Hey, there's changes when you arrive to a venue. Uh, we've all been there where we've been shoehorned into a corner or whatever. And that was the case there. We, the way that they measured it, they had a third party company, and these things will happen, that did pipe and drape and put the dance floor down. Well, they measured from the back wall to the dance floor was 8 feet, but we were centered where the folding room dividers were, so that ate up 2 feet, and that's why we lost that.
Plus
And
the additional skirting and pipe.
and yes, the pipe and drape that took up a little bit, but we were still able to deal with that. I mean, well, I've run into it so much. It's that never let the client see that you're disappointed, because these things will happen. And we just said, okay, it is what it is, and let's make this event happen. And we were able to do that. Uh, we butted right up against the dance floor with the facade, and the table was literally against the facade, so we couldn't even do uplighting on the facade. But it was one of those compromises that had to be made,
Mm-hmm.
and we lit the whole room, and so we did have the focal point. Now they did change something else too, didn't they, Jimmy?
Yeah, they moved what was going to be the sweetheart table, a nice little, just a little table on the exact opposite across the dance floor from us, and they moved it over to the right side, and then they did this big grandiose swag and made it. It was very nice. It was
Yes,
very
they
nice.
did. They did a nice job. I felt a little bad for the wedding couple, because it's like they got the nosebleed seats and it's their event. They were picture this, that you're sitting center court at a basketball game, and they are underneath one of the nets. That's how far away they were.
Yeah.
And uh, I went there, and that whole particular wall did not have, we had already done our uplighting around the room in the colors of their choice. And I thought, well, I could at least uh, feature them. They were stuck in a sea of tables, basically. And they had, the pipe and drape company did do a great job with the swag behind them
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. And so I thought, well, I could light the swag up, and then that would feature like, hey, here's where the bride and groom are.
Yep.
But there was no electric, so I had to go with battery powered, and they even squeezed them in. so I couldn't use a big fixture.
Mhm.
So I just used one of these things here that I have. I always carry these battery packs. We've talked about those. You can get them just about anywhere with an AC outlet and so forth. And they also have the USB. So I had got these coin lights from Owen at Ape Labs at Expo, and I had them in my go bag. And I said, well, let me see what this looks like quick before we, because we were under the gun with time. And it worked out well. I was able to tuck the power supply here up underneath the pipe and drape and just let the pigtails hang out. And they're very low. It was no trip hazard to speak of, and it worked out well for them. The client was happy, and that was a last minute change that we were unaware of.
It did the job. It did the job
Yes,
very well.
it did, and they were very happy, very happy.
Yeah, you can see Howie and I both posted videos of the event. You can see them just by going back a little bit in time on our timelines and see it. It was a great occasion. I was really proud of what we did.
Yeah, well, okay, everybody knows that I'm a DMX geek, and I had spent a lot of time on making the uplighting because we didn't uplight the entire room. They brought quite a few uplights, and I actually had to change that on the fly because had I gone with, okay, we're changing everything in the program, then they wouldn't stand out. So
Mhm.
what I did was their colors were their favorite basketball team or college
It was
team,
actually
whatever it
Panthers.
was, whatever it was.
Yeah,
It was blue and white. So
yeah.
we had the blue uplights on either side of them, and then we changed the uplighting behind their swag, an opposite color, and it also made it sound active. So anytime that anything went on, the feature would be either on them or the dance floor, the two active areas where they would be. They're either going to be on the dance floor during their first dances or they'll be at their sweetheart table. So that was the way we were able to keep the focus on the client.
Yeah. It was really good. And I think we made the best of the situation.
Yeah.
I would have liked a little more control of the house lighting. That was a little bit divided up all over the room. You know,
Yes. I've seen that before because it's called zone lighting,
hmm
and uh, as a licensed electrician, I can speak to this that there is a code that says where you have uh, egress, as they call them, entrances and exits and emergency exits. You have to have the three-way switches. It has to be able to be turned on either in one end or the other. And unfortunately, if he turned off that one bank of lights uh, just for the dance floor, it would turn it off in the back, and he was worried about safety issues. So we didn't have control of that one particular zone, which kind of washed the dance floor up. But just instead of going to some of my dimmer and lighter colors that I wanted to do for slow dances, we just had to keep it bright and
hmm
uh, in other words, what I did was I prepared more uh, scenes and options than I needed for the event, and it turns out that I needed them.
Yeah, right. Well, let's put it this way. We the client was extremely happy. All right.
Right.
They
Mhm.
we hit all marks on that. So,
Well,
you
the
know,
thing is that we did not let them know of. I don't call these things problems. These things just come up all the time. It's a situation, and we're the professionals, and we promise them a good event,
mhm.
and they don't need to hear our technical difficulties or anything. And let's face it, they probably didn't even know because there was a third party vendor that had, made these changes and so forth. So there's no sense in disappointing them and letting them know that, oh, you ruined my day. No, you just, keep a smile on and put a good show on for them, give them a good product. And then they were very happy.
Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the introductions and timeline.
Oh, geez,
Oh, isn't that
I'm
always
glad I
fun?
wasn't you that night. I'm like, I'm just a late guy. I loved it.
Last minute, I got thrown about, I think it was 4 or 6 names to add to the you
Hmm.
know to the announcement for introductions. So I got with the coordinator for their chosen coordinator, and we just simply, well, I don't print out any of these lists or anything. It's all up on my computer as a text document. On the side, I use an iMac. So I squeeze my DJing software down to about 2/3 of the screen, and the other on the side, I just run my text document. So I can keep where we are in the timeline. I can have all my lists of people. Everything's very handy that way. And I got it backed up on other sources, but this makes it real easy. So she came up, okay, we're going to add in grandma and this person and that person, and the parents and this, that, and the other thing. So I said, okay, here we go. I added to the list. It's a text document, so I just updated it and
Hmm.
then I saved it in case the power went down. I wouldn't be screwed. So I
Hmm.
did that. And then what I did is to make sure that they got lined up right, I go, all right, sweetie, take a picture of my screen now, and you'll have it on your phone so you can get everybody in the thing. This way I don't have to give them a printed output, because it all changes. I could have printed 20 of them and brought them with me and they'd be, what am I going to write on each one? So whoever needs to know, they can come up and take a picture of the screen.
Hmm.
Easy peasy, done.
Yes, I've done that because oh, surprise, last minute changes on the introductions. Oh yeah, it's never happened. And that's a really good tip, Jimmy, that I've used that myself. Um, because that one, what was it, a year ago or so, that we did that wedding up in the Poconos, and they made some changes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's really not that difficult. The important thing is to smile and just do what you can. And the the uh, the little tip here, the golden tip, is your camera. Let them take care of that, because what had happened with ours is I dealt with this one coordinator for a
Be
year,
nice. Be nice.
and and well, she was in an accident. Short
Yeah,
story.
that one, that
She
she
was in a
was really
car.
nice.
So what happened is the coordinator I was dealing with for a year was in an accident 2 days prior to that, a car accident. So I got a new person, and they wanted to make some changes. And yeah, okay, so we make them and take a picture on your phone. And I said, okay, I'll go back and line these people up. And she says, no, I'll do it. I said, okay, just take a picture of the changes so that you know. And that's there's your tip for the night. You got your money's worth, folks. Rather than writing on the back of an envelope, I've been given those sort of things as well. And I know people that use the iPads, and which are very, very nice. And you can take your iPad, and they actually have apps out there that will scroll to your voice as you make your announcements. And what you had mentioned earlier about making changes, those changes can be made quickly. And
Mhm.
there's no reason why you cannot take an iPad and a phone, somebody else like this, wedding coordinator that was, decided to take over, and she could take a picture of what we're going to be doing, and then she can line up the people accordingly. So great tip there, Jimmy.
Well, the beautiful thing is if you have internet there and use Google Docs, everybody that has it now has an update. Everybody that's using that Google Doc now is updated. So they don't even have to take a picture. They're using the Google Doc. They look at their phone. Oh, okay, there's been changes. Voila.
Yeah, because we know that the people in the wedding party are all going to be on their Google Docs in the back room, right? Now they're all either drinking or prettying themselves up, whatever. It's hard enough to get them in a line. So yeah, that's where either myself as the day of coordinator, or they, if they have a wedding coordinator, where they come in and say, okay, everybody line up. You know, I need so and so here, so and so here, and then when I do the announcements, they just come out and to the applause, and then they go and stand in their appointed positions or go to the head table or whatever the case may be there.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I didn't put on the thing there, I just thought I'd throw in, Howie did the the big superstar introduction, spotlight introduction, where all the movers, he used two of them to do that. They all throw over to the door, and
the entrance where they were
the
coming
entrance,
right
where they enter. And then they come over to dance floor, and he goes on to the next, and he has this beautiful fade in there. So it's just not like a abrupt snap and herky jerky stuff. He does it and it looks nice and smooth. All right. And one of the things that I came up with, because I got things to do and he's got things to do.
It was
so
busy.
The idea is we put a microphone stand out where the bride and groom are going to dance. This way, I don't have to stand out there going, okay, Howie, you got it yet? You got it yet? You got it yet? And he's trying to, get everything in position. I can leave that microphone stand out there with a little piece of paper set at human height. And I can go back to do my thing, and he has his aiming target.
Oh, okay. Let's let me clarify this for the people.
Yeah.
One of the things that I do as it's in my my gold package. People call their packages by different names, but let's say 1, 2, 3 being the highest, is my middle package will include, or it's an option, an upsell for, if they want to just package one, is the spotlighting of the introductions and spotlighting of the first dances. And those are things that I need to do on site. So when we found out that, oh, okay, this is a little bit different, it's not something I can pre-program. I mean, I do have some in there, but they're kind of sort of almost close, but they wouldn't look good in the photos. So what we had done previously is Jimmy stand in the center of the dance floor, and I would just aim the lighting, save the program. And he came up with the idea of just putting a mic stand out there with a piece of paper on, and then I could do my aiming from there. And a doorway, well, a doorway is a doorway. I aimed at the door, at the entrance ways where they were coming in. And then they had their programs. What I thought was really interesting to speak about on the fly, and being in the moment, was you did the introductions. You did, and by the way, you were really good, Jimmy. I wish we had recorded that. Jimmy was very, very good with the introductions. It was very upbeat and positive, and there was no let's hear it for, and how about a round of applause. The way he announced it, the people clapped naturally, and it worked out really well. And the very first one was the father of the groom, and as he came in, he got to the dance floor and he did the what did you call it, the soul train
the soul train stroll down the
stroll. So you know, being that he was the patriarch of the family, the others saw this and they intuitively said, "Whoa, well, I better do my Soul Train line dance when I hit the dance floor." And luckily, I had lighting that, like you said, faded slowly from the entrance, which took the focus off of the entranceway where the next couple to be announced was. And it was on those people that were doing their little dance across the floor and then taking their seat. And then, right as you would go into, your next introduction, the lights would come up that was lit up, and that was something that was just purely on the fly, and they loved it. It really between your voice and the lighting cues, it just brought natural applause
It
and
went smooth.
energy to the room. It was
Yeah.
very smooth. Yeah.
Now, I do want to say, Robin and Pete and Scott and everybody in the room, we are going to open this up in just a few minutes. We're just trying to get the show in. All right. And we're really, we want to hear from you guys too and hear your ideas and everything. So just give us a minute. Howie, are you able to paste that link for me?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not set up for that.
All
But
right.
okay, let me. I have one other thing I'd like to throw in
Yeah,
there
go ahead.
as last minute changes. Uh, I was, I guess it's probably 2 weeks ago now. Um, I got a link from Brian. Somebody had asked him for some advice, and it had to do with these Omar power supplies, and they're various different names. What they are is they're a lithium battery pack that will also put out 120 volt pure sine wave.
Mhm.
And this fella could not afford to invest. So for people on a tight budget or in a situation where uh, investing, let's say $900 to $1,000 in a battery powered speaker would not be a good return on investment if you're only going to use it once or twice a year. He wanted to know, would that power a 12-inch two-way top?
Mhm.
And so he gave the name of it, and we were all in a group chat. And I said, well, I happen to have a pair of Electro Voice ZLXs, and it's very similar specs. So I plugged it in. He just wanted to know, could he turn that AC powered speaker into a remote speaker? Because last minute, guess what? Hey, we're having our ceremony outside and there's no electric. So, we were able to help this fella out, and he was able to pick out the model that he could use for $70 and have it delivered in 2 days. And he turned a battery powered speaker into, or a AC powered speaker rather, into a battery powered speaker for the ceremony. And he got through, and it didn't break his wallet. And so that was nice to be able to help this fella out, because not all of us have deep pockets. I know I don't think the juice would be worth the squeeze for me to invest $900 to $1,000 at this point in one of those battery powered speakers. If I needed, I already have two battery powered speakers, and if I needed a location where I could use one of these and just use an EMI to transmit. And I sure could have used that yesterday at the event that I did at the museum. This is an outdoor museum, the Red Mill Inn. I did an event at, and it was a very, very nice time. Uh, and it was supposed to be a small event. It's their very first year, and so they hired me to do the DJ and announcements and so forth. But it turned out they had 5 times the amount of people that they had expected, and I really could have used some more speakers there. But yep, there's always next year, and that's what we'll do then.
Well, maybe I can come up and help you.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll team up again.
Bring the EVs and then use yours for a remote, and
Mm-hmm.
that'll work out good because no cords to worry about.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think we covered some, the current changes and just, yeah, I just wanted to, uh, let people know that, as long as you don't let them see you sweat and handle the situation, it's not a problem to me. It's just a situation that needs to be overcome. And there are ways, techniques, and tips and tricks that can be implemented to do this and do it with a smile, because at the end of the day, they're going to say, wow, we had a great time. They won't know that there were any problems or challenges.
Yeah.
And they're more likely to recommend you. And certainly the venues and the other vendors will see
Yeah.
your work ethic and that you're not a whiner, and they're going to want to have you on their team.
And you're thankful to the staff that help you out.
Yes.
They brought us water. They were very nice.
They were very charming people down south
Yeah.
there.
I've worked out of that venue a couple of times, and it was pretty good. Now,
Yeah.
the last time I was there, the food was really good. That was really good. Probably about 2 years before.
Yeah, we were so busy though. We really didn't have time to eat.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah, so I had the three food groups. Then on the way home, I had bottled water, and I had the beef jerky and cheese sticks. So that's because I had driven all night. It was the perfect time for me to drive on.
Breakfast of champions.
Yeah, what was that? 81. I took 81 home, and I
Yeah.
thought, you know what? It behooves me to leave at 11 at night and just drive through the night. And I'd hit
Yep.
no traffic, and it was great. So that was a lot of fun, that event. So
Better than the traffic on the way down.
yeah, that's because that was daytime traffic, and yeah,
No, that was I-95. I'm never going to take I-95 again. Ever, 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 ever.
Yeah. So
I-95 from Carolina down's fine, man. I have no problem. I could fly through everywhere. All right, even through Miami. All right, it's fine. But I'll tell you what, DC, Baltimore, nope.
yeah, that was difficult.
I don't care if I got to drive north a little bit to get to Harrisburg. I am never taking I-95 south out of Philly.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. All right. On that note, everybody have a great night, and we'll see you in just a second. Don't go anywhere. We're just going to end the show. So bye, everybody.
Take care and keep it positive, folks.
Okay.
And we're out.
And here comes the link for everybody.
And let me stop the recording here.
Yeah.
Did you stop the broadcasting then? Put the link up first, and then you could stop the broadcasting to the 100 different places that it's going to.
Yeah. Let me see what I can do.
Okay.
Here.
Recording is stopped. And as soon as the link is up, you folks are welcome to join us.
I put the link up. All right, I just got to switch keyboards here. Everybody can see all my junk.
That's not junk. That's valuable equipment.
Yeah, okay. No, that's junk. Trust me.
That has seen another lifetime of making people happy.
Let's see. Stop live stream. See. Let's see. All right. Scott's saying he doesn't see the link. I just posted it.
Okay. Jimmy, can you send it to me and
I did. I sent it to you.
I'll put it on my my wall on Facebook, put it on your wall, and anybody that wants to tune in.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Videos. We're still live on YouTube.
Wants to tune in.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Yeah, you'll have to go down to the bottom and shut them all down.
All right, hang on a second. Let's see, where am I? Everybody be patient. This is my first rodeo running in this. All right, copy. Let's see. All right. Here we go. Everybody be patient. This is my first. I think that's it.
Okay. It's anybody that's friends or not friends with me can go to Howie Darkstar, and the link is right on my wall.